Coming to you live from downtown Detroit, this is Benzinga's PreMarket Prep with your host, Joel Elconin.
This is a volatile puppy here, isn't it?
And Dennis Dick.
I'm bidding a penny. I will buy the stock for a penny.
With everything you need to start your trading day.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this Tuesday pre-market prep. Spencer Israel, Joel Elconin, Dennis Dick with you this morning. Well, we talked about buy the dip yesterday, then we got another dip. So I guess the question today is, will we buy the dip again today? Earnings on our radar, of course. IBM, Procter & Gamble, Logitech is our big mover of the morning. They raised their guidance late last night. We'll talk about that. Number of ratings on our radar as well. Our guest is Nick Chahine. He's the author of Create Income with Option Spreads, also runs the site sellspreads.com. He will join us at 8:35. Want to remind you all to hit that like button if you like the show and want to show your support. We appreciate that. The more likes we get, the more tickers we can discuss at ticker time at the end of the show. And let's throw it to Joe now. Joel, update us on how hard we have bought the dip in the overnight session, because I assume we're higher.
We are higher by 19 3/4 handles. Our close was 22.75, but they came right out. I guess there was a little positive stimulus talk right at the close, and we got a pop. Your pre-market high 51.75. I have absolutely nothing at that level. Friday's close is up at 62 1/4. On the downside, 28 1/4 is your pre-market low. I don't know. Might have some problems getting down to that level today. We'll see. Still early. Crude in the green by 4 cents at 41.10. You have gold in the red by 5.30 at 19.0540, and you have silver in the red as well by 7.8 cents here at 24.61, and trading up $75. These are the futures at 11,830. Do not look now, but Bitcoin is knocking on the door of 12,000. Triple D, is it time to get into Bitcoin?
I don't know, but it's time the market just sold off. What just happened here about 4 minutes ago? Google went red, I saw, but we fell significantly here.
Come on. You're acting like me now.
I know I am, but
market fell 5 points. It's nothing.
NASDAQ fell about 0.4% right there. And I think Google just went red. Did Google come out with something?
Let's see.
Israel, to the news desk and beyond.
Come on, let's go.
I'm looking. I don't see anything.
Google's green. Now Google is red.
Something happened with Google. Let me guess. Antitrust.
Probably.
They're breaking it up. How long have we been hearing that?
We got to find out. I think something.
Here we go. From the Wall Street Journal.
Oh my goodness, Joel! You're Joel's like he's got a crystal ball over there, looking into the past.
That is literally what the headline is.
That's actually the headline. We just did it again. Joel just pulled a Jason with the X-Ball.
The DOJ is actually filing their suit. I
knew something happened.
Yeah,
I just watched NASDAQ fall out of bed and Google go red. Something happened. I got up to go to the bathroom right for the show. I come back. I was like, what just happened to the Qs? We were all stable and doing fine. And all of a sudden we're not. So.
Oh, yeah. Google, antitrust. Okay. Now let's not go. What do you think about that, Dennis? I mean, this antitrust and breaking these up. I mean, hasn't this been going on for like 100 years? Well, they haven't been around 100.
This headline comes out once a month.
Okay.
And nothing ever seems to materialize from it. So you are absolutely correct. This headline has been going on for 100 years. Just like Fauci has been alive for 500 years, we have been hearing about the Google antitrust for 100 years as well. Even though Google's only existed for like 25 years, we've heard about Google antitrust for 100 years.
All right, let's talk Bitcoin for a second.
Bitcoin, let's go. This was on the agenda. And I changed the agenda quickly when the Google thing happens. So that's what we do. We move on the fly. We got news happening. We're live here. Something news breaks. We throw the agenda. We crumple it up and throw it in the garbage. We pretty much do that every day. And we really don't have an agenda. So Let's go. What do you want to talk about?
That's
Bitcoin?
not true.
Bitcoin.
That's not true. I try to have an agenda, but
I
also
know,
wait,
I screw it up every day.
real fast. I feel like we've been talking about this Bitcoin. Oh my gosh, 12,000. How many times have we talked about 12,000 in Bitcoin? I feel like every day.
What happened to your screen, Spencer?
I like it better.
I moved it. I now have the office behind me.
Can you move that orange garbage can?
Sure, being fussy, Joel. You don't like the orange garbage can?
I'll just move in front of it.
I had the best marketing idea here this morning, though, for Benzinga. So I'm telling you, and I was telling Mitch in the morning, he liked the idea. Spencer wasn't into it, though. But you know how, like, Little Caesars has, like, the Little Caesars guy, you know, that goes around and, you know, walks on the street and, you know, he's holding the sign. You pay, you know. So I think you need, like, somebody walking behind Spencer holding a Benzinga Pro sign. And he's just going to do the entire show. He's going to keep walking back and forth behind Spencer. And he'll flip the sign around and do things and that. And I think we'll get Benzinga Pro subscribers. Maybe. So what do you think? I think that's a good idea. We got all that space behind Spencer. Let's have somebody hold.
Whoa. I think we just lost Dennis's internet. I think Dennis's internet just went out.
I don't think Jason likes that idea.
No, Jason hates that idea. I think so is Comcast or whoever his internet provider.
Oh, we lost Dennis.
We did lose Dennis. But wait, real quick, I want to go back to Bitcoin before we get too sidetracked here because Joel, we've been talking about this 12,000 level. It feels like forever. So we're knocking on the door again. You were the one of the three of us. You were the one that actually bought Bitcoin way back in the day in 2017. Are you thinking about it again or what?
I don't know. I don't really do good at like chasing things right now. So
it's not a chase. It's not a chase.
Yeah, I mean, let's just go to the charts here.
It's not a chase. That is not chasing. Come on.
I mean, it's been in a trading range. I mean, see, if I was buying it here, just based on the futures, I'd be like, I got to get out at like 1240 or 12,240. You got to double top there. So Dennis is the one that's good at those charts, you know, when they're at the top. Oh, it's consolidating. 12,240 was your high on September 2nd. It's the first. It was 12,265. So I don't know, just a little bit of resistance there. I'd be more apt to get it on a pullback. Is Dennis? Is he trying to redial in or?
Yeah, I mean he'll get in eventually.
Okay,
I'm sure now he realizes he's out. I want to go back to Google here for a
second. He's probably still talking and doesn't realize that he's off the broadcast. Is what's probably happening right now.
Maybe I should text him. Joel, can we go to Google here just for a second? So yeah, this Wall Street Journal article, this came out at exactly 8:00. They went, so it looks like, I mean, they have this exclusive that the DOJ is actually filing their report or their antitrust lawsuit against Google, basically for saying that Google is so good at their business that they're basically too good. That
so that really sounds good. So they're too good at what they do.
I mean, yeah, they have a duopoly on the digital advertising market with Facebook and Google, and the DOJ is basically saying that Google is acting as a gatekeeper, an unfair gatekeeper for like the entire digital advertising landscape because they basically have a duopoly there. And so this is going to be a story that we're going to be reading about for the next like 5 years probably. It's not going to go away. But Joel, the fact that you even called it, just let's see. So the stock is down on this headline. We're going to get 500 more of these headlines, I suspect, by the time this.
But does this mean like if we're so good, we're so superior at covering the pre-market? Does this mean like the DOJ is going to come after us and say you guys can't do pre-market prep anymore because you're just too damn good?
I mean, all right, to be clear, that's not what the DOJ isn't saying you're too good. That's me. That's me in terms of what the DOJ is saying. But that's what it comes down to, right? Is Google? No one stopped Google from doing what they were doing. They bought DoubleClick. They bought all these ad platforms. No one stopped them in building up. I mean, this is how they make money, right? They make money on ads. That's Google's revenue right there in a nutshell. So, and without, I think that's the business, right? They have their other bets, which is just like their pie in the sky ventures that don't make any money. This is Google's business right here. And the DOJ is now officially coming after them and filing a lawsuit. So this is going to take a while. I don't know when it'll end, obviously. But in terms of just
I'll just look at it. I mean, I don't understand all that. I'll just look at this, technically, and you built a wall here over the last 6 sessions, right? Look at all those highs in the same area. That's what we like to look at here. And I'm eyeballing this, and it's not quite 1600, but let's call it 1590 for a nice round number. So absolutely no upside in Google until you clear 1590. It doesn't look like it's going to do it today. It's $60 away. On the downside, you're just boom at the low of the pre-market session, 1528.12. You got a little gap to fill. I guess if I was short or I was trading this and I want to look for a long, look at this 15, 16, 52. Man, so many numbers with that. I hate $1,000 stocks. I'll just say that. Potential support 15, 16, 52. And I'm sure there's a lot of people would like to see it. The close 34.61 is not too far away. So there's a setup for Goog. I don't know. Goog with the L. I don't know what people like to trade, but the thing that sticks out to me right now is the resistance at 1590.
Hey, while we're on the topic of federal investigations and lawsuits, let's go to Goldman Sachs here quickly, because Goldman Sachs, this came out overnight as well. They're settling for it looks like they're done with the 1MDB scandal now.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
So the first part of that settlement was a few months ago, and then there was the other part was announced, I believe, yesterday or overnight. And so what it's going to come down to is, when all is said and done, Goldman Sachs is going to essentially pay $5 billion in fines for their part. And if you don't know about this scandal, there's a good documentary on Netflix about it. It's the 1MDB scandal in Malaysia. Goldman Sachs is pretty involved. $5 billion is what it's going to cost them in fines, essentially, when all is said and done. That's like a month of revenue for Goldman Sachs. So I guess this is the bull case on banks, right? Is that even when they misbehave horribly, the penalty just isn't there, right? So last quarter, their revenue was almost $11 billion. So we're essentially saying, you misbehaved horribly. Here's a fine that represents half of 1 quarter of revenue.
I tell you, Triple D almost had me talked into buying this stock.
Actually, you know what? Me too. I've thought about it.
Yeah. Yep. And I was just like, and then after earnings, I'm like, well, they sure didn't treat it very nicely after earnings. So I kind of laid off it. For this one, I can give you support and resistance. That at 215 level, 15 is looming large here. 3 highs in a row. Man, this is like pattern. Look at that, 1489, 1411, and 1445. So if you're looking for a breakout in Goldman, there's where you got to get over 215. And the support's not too bad either. You're looking at the low from yesterday at 0459 and 0411. So call the 204 support area. Really important for it to hold there. Maybe market conditions will, if we get a nice rally, we can rally back to 210, 212. I just looks like a slippery slope though. But if you take out 204, you could easily be at 200, but certainly not rewarded for that. Did you hear back from? Oh, there he is.
Yeah, we're joined by our first guest now.
Internet just crashed. It never does that. It's pretty stable. I'm on Rogers, and they're very rare for them to crash. So no idea what happened. I am back.
How long did it take you to realize that you weren't on with us?
And you know what? The immediate panic, it wasn't that I wasn't on the pre-market prep show. The immediate panic was I have open orders out there.
No.
I'm trying to figure out, okay, well, I can get my cell phone and try to connect and maybe use the internet from my phone to log in and get my orders out of there. Because I was like, I just having visions of, market crashing on me and I'm not ready for it. So it's always, as a trader, you always panic when you lose internet. That's the worst case scenario. So need a backup. You should get a backup internet.
We are good call on the leaking there.
Yeah, we're all over it.
Yeah,
nice CNBC breaking news 10 minutes after us, man.
Should we throw in a ticker here for John Hutz, Hautz, real quick? Dennis's favorite stock. He trades it every day, right, Aid?
I'm not even talking, right, Aid? You go ahead.
It's got support. That's about it. Looking
Support
for
at 0.
Yeah. If you know, it's when it gets down here. Wow, it's been down here for a long time. I mean, support is support. I mean, if you're leaning on this for a swing trade, 929, 930, you're a buck above that. And then this usually seems to get some like wild news or something and then rallies, but not a great looking chart. And I just wanted to bring up, man, did you see CVS yesterday? Holy mackerel.
Holy Toledo.
They were punished for I didn't like that headline that they're going to hire 15,000 pharmacists. I'm thinking, because of flu season and for testing, I'm like, that doesn't sound like good news to me. And they couldn't get it through the resistance there at 61 and ended up giving it all back. So there is a tangent from Rite Aid to CVS. Spencer, bring us back in.
What did you talk about when I was gone for 10 minutes?
We've talked
Google,
Bitcoin, Google, and Goldman Sachs. So I want to.
Oh, you already did the Bitcoin segment. I was trying to decide, I've been talking about buying Bitcoin for like a year now, and I still haven't done it. Should I buy it or not? What do you want me to do? Should we put 10% of our net worth in Bitcoin like all these Bitcoin people say we should?
This is what I want you to do. Well,
I have 0 of my net worth in Bitcoin currently.
You should buy it, but you should only buy it if you can absolutely promise all of us, promise me, Joel, all the listeners, all the chatters, all of our guests, promise everyone that you're not going to look at it for at least a year. You're not.
I look at it every day. How do you not look at what you own?
Forget that you own it.
I can't do that. I'm no good. Why don't I just give you money and you can invest it secretly in Bitcoin for me and then tell me at the end how much money I lost or made.
Place it into like a blind trust, like as in
yeah.
Right.
For me, with these right here, like I'd be all nervous about 1220 or 12,200. If I bought it here, I would automatically sell it there because it's a double top, at least the first time.
This is what happens to me too. I look at the charts too much and then I decide, I better get out of this. And meanwhile, you shouldn't sell any of that stuff.
Maybe it gets ramping up for the Thanksgiving blast. Remember that? That's when I bought it just before. Was it 17 or 18, Spencer?
It was both years, I think.
Yeah.
That rally between Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to say. I mean, it's starting to look okay again here, but every time it gets up here, it fails. And really, where are we gone? We've gone nowhere for a long time in Bitcoin. Like the volatility, remember how everybody's saying, oh, how volatile, how can you invest in something that volatile? I mean, that argument's gone. This thing isn't really volatile at all.
Futures put the kibosh on that.
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Thickened it all up?
Yep. No more monkeying around.
Big players in there.
Yeah.
I stand corrected, Joel. Bitcoin actually sold off horribly around the end of the year 2018.
Right. So that's when we did our that's when we did.
So I mean, the bubble came in December 2017. A year later, it basically collapsed in November.
I did come across my Coinbase password, so I will have to. Man, it's like I can't even.
you lost your password.
I don't know if I have it.
Or not your password that protects the coin.
Yeah, I don't have the wallet.
Like you're the one that's definitely going to forget that password, Joel. There's no doubt. Like if you buy that thing directly, there's no doubt you're going to mess up that password and have your Bitcoins lost forever.
I wonder if
I might do it, but there's 100% chance.
I wonder if I have any in there still. I think I sold out. I sold out of the rest of it. I don't know. I'll take a check.
All right, let's go to the earnings parade here. IBM is probably your biggest headline.
Yeah. Wow.
The morning here. They were out yesterday afternoon. Earnings were in line at $2.58. Sales beat $17.56 billion. There's a slight beat on the estimates there. I didn't see any guidance. I don't think they gave any guidance on the call or in the.
No, they said they stopped giving guidance.
Right.
Really?
Yeah. Well, they don't need to give guidance. No, we don't need guidance
because their business is the same, right? Because nothing.
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't. We know what it is. It's not going to grow. It's a cash cow. They make a lot of money, but they have a nice dividend. But it's the same thing. And I was so hoping the stock would pop. I was like, I wanted to sell the pop. I was like, IBM will have a pop on the initial numbers. I'm going to sell this thing short at 130 and make a whole pile of money. There was no pop to be had, Joel. It was just nothing there.
Nothing.
It was a whimper, and then they had to start the conference call, and it kept leaking. So right side of the trade, I never got it on. Never got it on because it never had the pop.
It never had the pop.
Never had the pop.
You know what they should do? They should bring back Deep Blue versus Gary Kasparov. That's what they need. Remember when they did that? The chess match?
I was thinking was that in the 90s?
Yeah, they did. It was 96 through 97. That's what they did.
I guess it was more of an IBM Watson Jeopardy fan.
Can you imagine you could bet on that on DraftKings now? Like after each move, you could be able to do that. Now, I don't know what to say about this stock. It's more than filled the gap now, trading on the lows of the pre-market session. No, I'll give you a low to look at 118.82. You did have a low at 2105 on the 5th. And their next low there is 118.82. And Dennis, what's your
Are we going to go red here? Holy mackerel. It's hard to talk all the IBM when you're seeing the market just continue to get hit here.
I hope so.
Yeah, obviously we've got some headlines here that we know what they are.
Is there more headlines, Spencer?
Well, Trump was just on Fox. He was on TV just now. As we start our show, Trump went on Fox. So I don't know what he said because I was on with you guys. And what else did I see? Go by my wires.
Look on your Twitter. Let's see what he said.
I don't know. We're leaking big time here. I'm trying to concentrate on doing a show, but
all I am is trading.
All I am is trading here because I'm like, I'm about to cancel all the orders. I had to cancel orders because my internet goes down at the most opportune time. Lucky it came back up. I'd be in full panic mode right now watching the market come down and get back to gains. And obviously as a trader, maybe everybody else doesn't care about 0.5%, but I do because I'll make my money off 0.5%. So that's a big fall.
No, I like it.
Usually the Google antitrust news doesn't move the market that much, but I guess it's happening in the morning and everybody's at their desk. They usually come out this at 5, 6 o'clock at night and nobody's paying attention and they just don't even cover it in the morning. Well, all of a sudden, they are covering it. They care.
We're on the lows of the pre-market session. I know,
we're
28 and a quarter.
Man.
I know.
Leaky.
What should I do? Should I wait for unchanged here or wait for us to take out yesterday's low?
I don't know. It's leaking pretty good though.
All right. Let's all right. So we talked IBM, we talked Google.
Well, I want to go to Logitech from a company that's not growing to one that is growing, and Logitech.
Wow, that stock is unbelievable.
Has also leaked off of its high, but I'll give you the headline here from this morning, about an hour and a half ago now, maybe an hour ago. This is last night. They raised their guidance. They raised their full year sales growth guidance. Originally their sales were going to grow 10 to 13% for the year. Now they say our sales are going to grow 35 to 40% for the year, assuming a constant currency. And they also gave earnings with that, but the guidance raise was the big number there.
That's an unbelievable move. Again, remember Logitech is trading actively over in Europe, so the price discovery has already happened. This has been trading for hours up this much. So this isn't like all of a sudden, boom, it's going to give it all back. I mean, it has leaked in the last couple hours. It got to 98. Yeah. So huge move. I mean, this is, again, the market, the price is in nothing. So if you're doing your homework, Jason Raznick pick right here. I mean, this is a stay-at-home stock, and it's firing on all cylinders. And, you get up there 94 now. I mean, the moves happen. But, wow, if you held this into earnings, it's a good hold.
Where's the primary exchange for this?
In Europe. I don't know what it's listed on.
So this is what happened. You got the pop just over 98, and then the sell orders came in, and they said, you know what? Sell me 387,000 down to 94. And they sold it down to 94. Now that seller is done, and everyone stuck between 94 and 98 on the long side is hoping for a bounce. And I don't think you're going to get back up to that 98 and change. So that's the way I'm looking at it. Now, under 94, look out. You can see 90 in this thing. And that's just based on the 15-minute chart. But gap again, up and fading.
The one big difference, though, as trading, actively over in Europe is it's not like this is whipping around 2-3 points at a time. This has already been trading since 3 o'clock this morning. So you have 5.5 hours of regular session trading into Logitech already. Even though we're just opening here and we haven't had it here, I don't think it's going to open up over here and all of a sudden tank $5 because we aren't the primary market. So the primary market has priced it and they like it. I don't know where it goes, in 2, 3, 4 days from now, but
Nope.
I don't think you're seeing 90 today. You've already this is like trading at 3 o'clock after think about Logitech as this isn't like trading at gonna open at 9:30. This is like it's trading at 3 p.m. and it's been trading all day, and it's leaked some of the gains, but they like the earnings, and it's not like it's just gonna give it all back.
Okay, I haven't lost a lunch in a while, but I'll take 90 if it trades 90. You owe me a lunch. If it trades 98, I owe you a lunch.
Why do I want to make that bet?
I don't know.
You're trying to take me in town, trying to get me to sell the dip. It's called buy the dip, Joel. The name of the game is buy the dip. The 94 is a dip now.
Like that dip right there when you made the pre-market low. What was it? The old pre-market low was 28 and a quarter.
I made one bad bet here in the last month, and it was with Mitch, and he got me to sell the dip on work. He got me somehow to sell the dip. Never sell the dip. I was on work. And work had tanked down. I was like, work is going to see $20 before it sees 28, and the stock had, had the disappointing earnings and gap down. Don't sell the dip, you buy the dip. And now you owe Mitch a lunch because of my bad bet. Have you paid him that lunch yet?
No.
Okay, send him some soup. It's cold in Denver. Send him some soup.
You know what I'm going to do? What I'm going to do is the next time you say a stock's going to 100, I'm going to take the other, because you say that all the time. You look at a stock and you go, oh, it's going to 100. If it's like an 85. So next time you say
that's what they do. 85 gets you 90. It's a Kenny Glick style. 85 gets you 90. 90 gets you 95. 95 gets you 100. It kind of works. I kind of like that style.
You're running out of time in AMD.
What stock? Yeah, I know AMD.
How's your spread doing?
It doesn't move. It'll start moving once it's like the last month here. I don't know. I haven't looked at it for a long time. I stopped looking at it because it doesn't move. It moves. AMD moves $5 and the spread moves $1. Okay, let's not talk about my positions here. Let's talk about because AMD. I've been in that spread. Let's go. Okay, so we were talking IBM, which I don't know how we went on the tangent from that one, and Logitech. So those are your two earnings stocks. We had also Procter & Gamble, Lockheed Martin. We got Netflix tonight. We got Texas Instruments tonight. We got Snapchat tonight. We got Tesla tomorrow night. There's so many cool things to talk about.
Let's talk about it.
What are we talking about? Pick one.
Let's start with
one for fun.
Let's start with Netflix here.
All right.
They're going to be the headliner today, more so than Snap. Netflix is perhaps the headliner of the week, Netflix or Tesla. But let me give you estimates if we have them here in the Pro. We do $2.13 earnings per share estimate for tonight, $6.38 billion revenue estimate. Those will be both up dramatically year over year.
Oh, so 533. We've had a little dip into the report. It's the market that prices nothing in. I think Netflix blows it away. So I would not be the least bit surprised if the stock gets a lift. We've pulled back. We didn't have your classic run up into the number here, which is good news. So you know what? I think they beat it. But it's like the coin flip. I mean, nobody really knows anything. I think they beat it. I think they beat it, and I think the stock actually rallies on the beat.
So remember this. I agree with you. They'll probably beat it, but that's not really the question.
Does a rally on the beat?
Netflix themselves said, I think it was, if not last quarter, 2 quarters ago, that we're seeing a massive surge, but we expect that surge to come back down. Like this growth in COVID won't last forever. And they said that. I think it was last quarter. They said at some point in the next few quarters, like this growth will go back to like a more normal growth rate that they had prior to this year. So let's see what they say this time around. I agree with you that they're probably going to beat, but that's not really the point. The point is, what can they give us any more details about the expected growth rate going out, 6-12 months?
We'll find out here tonight. Joel, what's the technical saying?
You know what? I'm going to lay off this a little bit. I mean, you've gone from 460 to 570, 110-point move, 55. That takes you back to 510, 515 area. So some lows just below 510. But this is what I'm thinking for earnings between now and the election. I think like if you get a big pop in this, I think you're going to get sellers. I think if you get a big drop, you're going to get buyers. I think people are just like, I think they're in the position squaring mode. We're coming into a major election, a major potential turning point in our country here. And I don't think anyone's getting too giddy about earnings. So they're going to have their moves, but I just think the moves are going to be faded. So
and you have all the people like me that buy the dip and sell the rip. So that applies to every stock.
Exactly.
This is the game. This is what it is. We're in this market. The fade trade is back. I love fading. If you ain't fading, you ain't trading, and yesterday too, we've had a nice run here for about 2-3 weeks. We were due for a correction. So what do? They pull the rug out from under and they tank the market a little bit. So we bounce back a little bit here this morning as the buy the dippers come in. They probably pull the rug out from under it, go red here, and then they come in and start to emerge again at 11 o'clock. I mean, it's Groundhog Day. It's why this market's actually been a really good market to trade, because it's actually very predictable to a certain extent. You can't predict the actual day they're going to come back, but when they dip, the buyers come in, and when they rip, the sellers come in. So let's keep doing it until it doesn't work anymore.
For longs here, I would just I did do the exact lines here, but figure out your 50% from that old, no, it's not the all-time high, just missed it, but from that recent high that you had 4 or 5 days ago, that came in at 572.49, and assuming the low from today holds, that comes in at 525. You get your 50% back in this area, 551, 552, high that area. That would be, that to me, that would be the number. If it was popping and I was long today or into the number, it got up into that area, boom, I would let it go. I wouldn't try and get the meat on the bone here between 552 and 572. It's just, that's what I'm looking at. For bulls, you know what you need to do. Bears, you need a bad number. You need to, crack these quad lows at, let's just call it 503 and a quarter, splits all those lows. So that's what I'm looking at in Netflix. No positions, nothing going in. I don't even know if I've ever taken a position in Netflix. Maybe a few.
I'm in it all the time. I was in it last night and I sold it because I'm in it. You know why I'm in it, because I think this stock usually pops ahead of the number. So, but I sold it. I sold it last night because they gave it love on Mad Money. I was like, I was getting a pop, or not on Mad Money, on Fast Money, and I sold into that pop.
Yeah, this one, Dennis. How did you not get run over buying this into the report? Because you usually do that. You just didn't like the price action.
Yeah, but I'm in out usually. I'm in and out. I'm in and out. So I'm usually long it overnight into the report, and then I sell in the morning and I rebuy it the next night again.
I got you.
Because I don't sit at my desk. Like, people who are new here, I trade pre-market, open, close, after hours. I don't trade from 10:30 to 2:30. I don't trade any of those hours. I used to. For 15 years, I traded 9:30 to 4. And if you were just listening to the interview, this is what I was talking about. But it's all chop. I don't make enough money from 10:30 to 2:30, so I take that time off now. I go to where I can make the most money. And there's not very many inefficiencies. I'm an inefficiency trader. I specialize in little micro inefficiencies. And there's not a lot of inefficiencies from 10:30 to 2:30.
No, the bots got it.
The bots got it. The bots got it. So you can use your technicals. You can do some other things. But I'm not a technical trader. That's why we got Joel for the technicals. I always throw it to you for the charts. I can look at a chart and get an idea. But I just want to know, is it an uptrend or it's in a downtrend? And that's all my technicals. Like I said, I teach my technical analysis in less than 30 seconds. I'll teach it to you right now. Less than 30 seconds. By 8:35, you're going to know your technical analysis. Support, resistance, trends, Jeff Mackey purple crayon, 50% retracement. That's it. Done.
That was 10 seconds.
10-second technical analysis lesson. Take your technical analysis books, throw them in the garbage. That's all you need. In my opinion, that's all you need.
All right.
Moving averages, I use 0. Death Cross, Golden Cross, Death Star. I use none of it. None of it. If it works for you, keep working it. If you're new to trading, don't get caught up in all these indicators, because it's a good way to not make money.
We want to do one more stock before we bring Nick on. What do you want to do, Spencer?
Yeah, I was just trying to think of like the most obscure technical patterns that I could, but I'm drawing a blank right now. So
the most obscure. He's trying to the head and shoulders,
like the craziest,
the cup and handle.
You know what I do like?
I love it when on CNBC they get on the death cross. It's where the moving average is. Oh, we got the long 200.
It's like the 200 and the 50.
50, and it's going down, and we got the death cross happening. You know why. Joel taught me this way back then. Lagging indicator.
I know. We find out tomorrow.
Why didn't you tell me about this? It's now gone down 20%. Now you're telling me it just hit a death cross. I wanted to sell 20% ago. A little late to the party, Mr. Death Cross people. So
you know what also
the Death Cross people, you know what they're doing? They're selling the dip. Because if you're all of a sudden, you got these averages of 50 days coming down through the 200, they're like, oh, we got to sell here because they got a death cross. Well, you know what that means? It means you're selling the dip. We don't sell the dip. We buy the dip.
You know what you're missing in your technical analysis too?
What?
Is, I know it's getting fancy. Wedges. I mean, when you get, well, that's let me finish.
That's part of it's the only wedge I got there. I don't information.
Part of that just means it's part of consolidation, right? So that's a lot of times. So you left consolidation out of that.
We look at kind of that stuff, but my bread and butter from technical analysis, support resistance trends. Is it an uptrend? I'm buying the dip. Is it a downtrend? I'm selling the rip. If it's a no trend, we're doing that channel thing that you drew yesterday because that's pretty cool.
All right, let's go. This got
Nick. Waiting on Nick Chahine to join us here. He'll be on with us, I presume, in a couple of minutes. So let's just do.
They bought the dip there. You made the new pre-market.
Oh my God, they bought the dip.
26.
I can't believe it.
Would it go unchanged for me? Would it go to 22.75? I thought that would be a nice area.
I think we're late for our guest.
Nick is not with us yet. So
what's going on? Nick's never late.
I just shot him a note. So
all right, Nick slept in.
Yeah, well,
he's never late.
He
never sleeps in either. I hope Nick's okay. Nick, if you're listening, come on the show. We need you.
This
has really gone downhill in a hurry.
One more, Procter Gamble.
Yeah, I was going to go to PG.
All right, save us, Mr. PG.
They also raised their guidance last night. So earnings good, sales good, guidance raised. They see their fiscal year EPS growth in a growth range of 4 to 9%. This is for the year. And that was a raise from the previous number. Earnings beat, sales beat, guidance raise.
Consumer products did well last quarter. Shocker. I thought about just taking this long just because. This is the market that doesn't price anything in. And who would have thought that everybody's staying at home? I guess we started to go out a little bit last quarter, but who would have thought that consumer products would do well when you're all staying at home? And hygiene's important. Who would have thought that all of a sudden the hygiene's important, that Procter & Gamble and Clorox would be doing well? This again is the market that prices in nothing. So if you just think a little bit, I guess, you go along Procter & Gamble, we make some money here this morning. That being said, lots of tops at 145.
Well, 146 is actually the number you really want to keep an eye on. That is your 2-day high. Oh, no, 145. Oh, you snuck through that. You're right, Dennis, 145. You hit that right on the kisser. What day was that? No, 145.87. I was right. It's closer to 146. You got anybody lurking at 146 there, Dennis? Or is that too far out in the book?
No, I didn't open my book yet. So there probably is. It's a good call. Procter & Gamble always has size. I bet you're right. I bet you there's some size in the book.
I think you might have a little problem getting back
JV
up there.
SPAC, what's in the book? I got to go. I'll open up the book.
Man, we haven't heard much from JV SPAC lately. But you're leaking a little bit. You pulled back off that high, kind of in middle of no man's land. Yesterday's high 45.31. So there's your first target, and then also 45.87. You can see that's where you snuck up in the pre-market high. I wouldn't worry about anything until it's up 231 until I think you're good on the long side until it goes red.
I saw a message from Nick. I think he's here.
Nick is here. Nick Chahine, all
snuck in.
Income with option spreads.
I am.
Nick, good morning.
Good morning to you. Sorry I'm late.
You're never late. What happened? He's never been late.
You okay?
Yeah.
I am okay. I'm dealing with something in my family, but it's not me.
Okay.
Sorry.
I
know there's something.
I can tell when something.
But,
voice.
He's been coming on the show for like 5-6 years. He's never been late. So there's obviously something up. So we hope everything's okay, Nick.
I just assumed he was in like a crazy trade and couldn't look away from his.
No.
No. Okay. No.
Nick, let's go macro here for a second.
Okay.
Election in 2 weeks. earnings season. I'm just kind of like, maybe earnings season's not super important now with the looming election here. So you always give us a good macro perspective on things. So where are you? Where you at macro?
I think the earnings are important. They
Okay.
should support the stocks because I think the mega caps are going to do well. They're going to deliver good results, whether it's what people expect or not. I don't know. So there might be short-term tizzies. We will find out tonight. I think Netflix is the first one. IBM did yesterday, and it was same old, same old. So we'll see after today how Netflix sets a tone, and then Tesla picks it up. So between these two, we'll see if they will have similar reactions or opposing ones. If they have opposing ones, then that's good. If they have both negative reactions, then you may shake the cobwebs out of the rest of the mega caps that are going to report later, and they will have a better chance at having an upside performance there. As far as the elections, it's a coin flip. I lost a few members yesterday over my comments on masks, so I'm hesitant to make comments on political stuff because
never talk politics.
Well, I wasn't making a point about politics, but they construed it that way because of how fiery a subject it is. Even if I said, like, I don't like to wear a mask, it's my personal preference. That doesn't mean I'm a Trumper and I'm a racist. Everything gets thrown in the bucket as soon as I say I don't like to wear a mask. Same
masks and politics. You can't.
If I plant the flag on my front lawn, people will say I'm voting Trump right away. So since when somebody liking the flag means it's a bad thing? My personal thing is I think Trump will win, and I think it will surprise by a margin, but that doesn't matter because I think the stock market is going to go up anyway. So whatever happens on the reaction, it's kind of like a Fed event where we don't know what they're going to say. Are they going to cut rates? Are they not? Well, now we know. But in the olden days where we didn't know if they're going to cut rates or not, it was like that event. And then we get the news, and then they fall, and then they rally, and then they fall, and then they decide which way they want to go. Eventually, I think that will go up because the companies, if Biden wins or if Trump wins, Google is going to make about the same amount of money once it gets out from under the stupid DOJ lawsuit that's coming today. So I don't think it's going to matter. The stock is going to do whatever it's going to do. As far as trading the charts, we are just above the accident scene from February in the S&P, way above it in the NASDAQ. We have room to give back a little bit and establish a better base. Like if the S&P falls to 3,200, and technically it could do that like today or tomorrow, it doesn't matter. It's a great place to buy the dip because that 3,200, if you look on a chart, it's a great base. And if that fails, there's a great base below that between 3,100 and 3,000. And then Grasso may get his 2850 or whatever he's pushing over there. Either way, they're going to buy the dip because that's what's been happening.
This is what happens. How do they stop buying the dip? When do they stop buying the dip? Ever?
Oh, they haven't. Slip of the tongue there.
Oh, that's my last name, so it's okay.
Okay, so they haven't done that. They haven't done that yet. You have to change the narrative, and there is the Fed put that's out there, and they're forcing money to flow. Some stuff will change. I looked at the quarterly chart on yields, and it's bottoming like it hasn't before. So if you believe in charts, there's going to be a drop in the TLT and a spike in the TNX. This could change the narrative. They may have to bring Art Cashin on CNBC in order to talk about the TNX. Remember when it approached 3 in February, was that 2017 or 2018 on a hot jobs number? Oh my God, the world's going to end. It's going to hit 3. So now we may hit 1 and 1.25, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's huge in terms of yields. And I don't know how that's going to affect the trading. It might help banks for a little bit, but is it going to hurt the whole stock market because yields are rising? I don't know. But the Fed is there. The babysitter is right there. Should anything happen, they're willing to spend trillions.
So but there has to be stuff, though, that you're not willing to buy, right?
Oh, yeah. If the problem is people don't seem to have a problem saying, I missed this rally. You know, something that's going ballistic, I personally have a problem chasing it. I would rather, what I do is I scour the drops and see which one is worthy of catching. Like if PG is falling, then I'll look at it. Is it worth catching? If not, I walk away. I have a scanner on some really low RSIs on several different time frames that rarely happen. And if something pops up on there, I start watching it. We got some good trades out of it in the last couple of months. Something that shows up of an RSI that's so low that you have to look at it to see, okay, is this a trough? I may not catch the very bottom, but the way I trade, I sell put spreads or puts, then I don't need to catch the bottom. I just need to not enter in an extended area. So there are some things that I'm not willing to chase. And like the stuff like Zoom, I get it that they are growing their top line so fast. They're just going to have to rally without me, and that's fine. Twilio was
52 times sales,
forward sales.
Yeah.
It's
110
like, times real sales. So
110 times, not earnings, 100 times
sales.
Like a company's got, $100,000 worth of sales, and it's worth $5 million.
They're basically paying 100 years worth of sales in the price today. That's what
100 years worth of sales. If the sales stay, and they may continue to go up,
right.
But what? Yeah. They might not even continue to go up. You're in this perfect environment for them.
But they had cover for a couple of quarters because now they're rolling over old comps. What happens when they start rolling over the new COVID comps? Is it going to be incrementally exponential like this?
At a certain point, it crashes. But I mean, I was talking bearish about it 70 points ago, and it's going. I mean, the story is intact, and people don't care about valuation. Eventually, it will matter, but it doesn't matter right now.
So there's a acronym I use. It's DHTH. It's too high to chase and too hot to short.
Yeah.
So I can't touch it. I missed it. I'll wait for the dip. Maybe I did that with Twilio. I said, don't short it. I'm going to short it just because I feel like it. I'm doing the wrong thing, and and it was wrong. So I stopped doing it way long ago. So I still say this is a Twilio market. I said it, and as long as Twilio is rallying on bad days, then they're buying froth, they're buying risk. It's a little different than the .com bubble, but it's similar in concept, but it's different than the .com. If you put a .com on your name, it doesn't matter your business model. This time they do have a business model.
Yep.
So, imagine, but they can still go out of business. You remember one of the companies back then in the 2000, Webvan? How strong would it have been during COVID?
I do not remember Webvan.
I do.
Oh my gosh!
I don't remember Webvan. How do I not remember?
Was it WBVN? Was it?
I don't remember the ticker, but I remember my buddy says I'm averaging down in it. I was like, what? I mean, they don't even have sales. You can't.
They didn't even have any sales. They're like Nikola. We just had a concept.
Yeah. So you can't just chase blindly. But if you're an active trader, then you can do it. Like on Tesla, maybe I don't believe in all of it.
Let's talk Tesla for a second, because you got to help me set up a trade where I don't pay the premium gods and I capitalize on a move here. I mean, it's just consolidating and it's got the earnings. Do you wait till after earnings to do something? Because it's not going to stay between 420 and 460 forever. It's going to either blast over 500 or take out 400 here. And I know a straddle would probably cost me like $87 here. How do you set this up, Nick? This thing is going to move out of here.
Well, I sold put spreads at 362.5 into a big dip day. I don't remember when it was. I collected about close to $1, and that was the way I traded it. I didn't worry about it much. It expired last week for maximum gains. So that's the kind of trades I like to do. So if right now you force me to do something in Tesla, I'll probably sell like a $300 put or a $250 put and collect. The $300 put is almost $7.
For when?
For December.
Really?
Yes, really.
You get premium selling these puts, man. This Nick's onto something here. He's onto something.
293? Holy
He's onto something.
Even I don't even think it's going to 293.
So there are 7,000 contracts there, just to let you know.
Jesus, Murphy.
So there's 3,000 contracts at 290. So if you want to do a spread, if you don't want the whole risk, you can collect a couple of bucks there. There are ways to trade it and not be in the trenches. However, the chart itself, like you said, is tightening. It has higher lows. I'm not going to say lower highs. It is lower than the high, but it has 2 knocks at 460-ish. So the dips should come into 404 under normal circumstances. Now, having earnings is going to probably exaggerate that up or down. I'm not sure, but you chase the rip above 467.50.
Okay.
And you buy the dip. You buy the dip. The level one would be at 405 and a half ish. Level two anywhere near 360, because it has a bounce at 340. 350 to 60 and a really hard bounce off of 330. So, but look at the candle from July 13th, and there's a poke to 360 and then an immediate let go of it, and then the defense of it a couple of times and the breakout from it. So it's pretty pointy. So if I were to sell a put anywhere below that line, I'm pretty confident. And 271, 272 was the base for a big rally in August. All these are points that machines will look for on bad days. So on a bad day, if I will sell a put or a put spread into any of these levels I mentioned, depends on how bad of a day.
All right, we'll take a look at it. I guess you're not talking me into buying the 500 calls into the print, right?
Why would you do that?
I'm joking, because a lot of people are. A lot of people are. This stock's going to like 6,780. There are people. I bet you there's people in the chat that are on the 500 calls going in.
Well, they will make a lot of money, but that's not my style.
I understand. I was being facetious.
Since I don't have an edge, it's more gambling to me than
it is.
And I'm not a good gambler. I'm a very conservative gambler, even if I sell puts. But it's a calculated risk. I just gave you a $6 risk that is laughable, right? People will laugh at me.
Until I sell the 290 put, and or the 300 put. That's when Tesla's gonna miss and decide they're not making cars anymore.
That's what happens.
Elon's gonna leave the company.
That's what happens to me. Yeah, Elon leaves the company, and the stock says, "Hey, we're going bankrupt all of a sudden." And Tesla Q wins, we were lying. And I just happen to have it.
Gordon Johnson was right the whole time.
Gordon Johnson was right.
Those cars have quiet motors in them; they're not really electric. So. The elections is the focus, the stimulus is the focus. I bet you months ago I told you here there will not be a stimulus. I said it among my group. As soon as they went on vacation, the politicians, as soon as they went on vacation, they were willing to go spend good times with their family, leaving the whole country high and dry without a stimulus. I said, there is no way we're going to have a stimulus after this. We're done. In fact, somebody said today, a politician, no. One of the business people on CNBC, he said something along the lines that the best stimulus would be to open up the country. And that's part of the debate that got me in a mess in my own chat room yesterday, because I said something like that. I said, we don't need a stimulus because we can't afford it. We should just open up the country since we have good therapeutics and the numbers are leaning towards, less mortality now, even though the infection rate is high, fewer people are dying from it. So we can afford to take that risk now. And the hospitals are not that packed. I can attest that because I've spent my days in the hospital the last few weeks. So we should reopen the country, but that's an emotional thing to say because they are so bifurcated, the opinion. So the stimulus, whatever, it's all noise. What's the bottom line for companies? That's what we have to think about it. Is divest yourself from the headline. It won't matter. Most headlines won't matter. And sentiment is the only thing at play right now. Monetary and structure are there. The only variable is sentiment.
I'm with you there, Nick. Nick Chahine is the author of Create Income with Option Spreads, also runs the site sellspreads.com. Nick, thanks for the time today.
I appreciate it. Sorry I'm late, guys.
All right, Nick, thank you. Best wishes. Nick. We'll talk to you soon.
I want to go to DraftKings here. I should have remembered this, and I didn't, and I apologize.
Oh, the lockup.
Yes. So the lockup expirations on these SPACs, on these SPAC mergers, is typically 180 days, right? So that's 5 months. So DraftKings merger closed April 24th. The lockup expiration is today.
How did we miss that after the offering?
We're going to get a lot of these in the next couple of months. Mm-hmm. The Nikola merger closed on June 3rd. So that's coming up here. That 5-month mark is coming up here in a little bit. So we're going to get these probably for the rest of the year, every week or so. There may be another one. But DraftKings, I saw a big block trade today that is a result of the lockup expiration. So what does that mean? It means everyone who was in the stock who is not allowed to sell is now allowed to sell.
Mm-hmm. All the insiders can sell freely. And that usually does put pressure on the stock. One thing you do see sometimes is that these are so anticipated. In this case, it probably is because it's been going straight down forever, that they're actually crowded with shorts. And you can actually sometimes see the trades reverse on these days. So don't just necessarily think, oh, it's a slam dunk that, the lockup expiration's here, so this stock's going to tank now. Sometimes there's so many shorts and then the tank doesn't happen and they're like, oh, and then they start to get spooked and then you can start to squeeze. So I still think the thing bounces at 40. We're $3 away from that. I've been saying that for like $6, $7. So we're almost there. I kind of want to buy it at 40 if it gets there. But again, it's names by the dip, but this trend's broken too. And this, this isn't like, oh, I don't know. I've always thought Penn was the better play. And obviously I sold my Penn. We talked about that. I plan on rebuying my Penn though. I just thought I was going to get it back cheaper. It's worked so far because I sold my Penn at 68. It's at 64 today. I got to get back in. So I would rather buy Penn at 55 than DraftKings at 40, but DraftKings at 40 I think could bounce.
CFA question for you. I mean, these guys, no, this is a simple one and I should know this. I mean, they could buy puts, right? If you're an insider and you have a lockup and you have the stock, there's nothing.
There's restrictions on that too, Joel.
Really?
It depends. So I don't know. Now you're getting, that is CFA stuff and getting really into the details there. But I know there is restrictive actions even to hedging your positions there. So
can you have your buddy buy some puts?
I'm sure that's fine.
I think they do that. I honestly think. Well, I think that's done. I think that's done a lot of times to get around it. Your buddy shorts a stock and I'll hook you up, when I rebuy, sell my stock. But, I guarantee you probably that's done. It's dirty as hell. I'm not sure the legalities on, what they can and can't do in each individual case, but I know there is some restrictions on options as well.
Moment of truth for Penn here, folks. We're down 13 cents at 64.70. We were looking at this thing and we were talking last week and we're like, oh man, it's just not following DraftKings lower, and it showed a lot of strength, took my eye off it. I don't know what happened. I guess the market kind of heard it yesterday. It fell down on pretty good volume. 64.11. That was your low yesterday. You had a club, but talking about 64, 63, 65. So this thing absolutely has to hold 64. I don't care about that. This other double bottom here. 64 is the number. Get a look at 62, but see if Penn could hold 64. I'm going to move this. I'm going to replace Logitech. I'm going to put Penn here, and that's what I'm going to be watching today. See what happens at 64.
Yeah, real fast. Well, I think I said 5 months earlier. I meant 6 months on the lockup expiration. So that's where we're at now.
It's good to know these things, and they are weak going into them. It's like an event, and you often see. So just as much as you see the earnings run up, you see the weakness ahead of the lockup. And I just saw that go by my timeline last night. I did not know that the DraftKings lockup expiration was today until last night. So these are trades too, trading ahead of the event, just like, the gentleman that was showing us the quantitative analysis from, the earnings run-ups there yesterday. That was great analysis. You're going to see the same thing. I bet you if, you analyzed, lockup expirations, you see weakness ahead of the expiration. There's alpha to extract from shorting those stocks ahead of these these lockups.
And the big reversal that you're talking about was on Twitter. That was a long time ago. The first lockup, everyone was selling into it. I can't remember.
It went the other way.
And it went the other way.
What you think. But the easier trade, I still say, is before the event. Once you're on the day of the event, sometimes the things can go and do some funny, because it could be really crowded. But the event run up for the earnings, the event run down for the lockup, expiration. I mean, these are tradable events.
All right.
What other ones do we have coming up, Spencer? Is there a couple more that are coming up?
So basically, every SPAC merger that went through in the April-May timeframe should be on your radar right now. But I don't have a list in front of me.
Maybe we'll give you a homework, you and Mitch some homework here, and get us a little list of what's coming up. And maybe we could do this, tomorrow's show or something.
Yes, that will be my homework for today.
Okay, awesome.
So Nikola is like the big one. That closed on June 3rd. So we're still a few weeks out from that, but it's something that we're going to have to remember heading.
These SPACs are all in a world of pain, eh?
Yeah.
A lot of these, the SPAC attack has really got sacked. This, obviously started with Nikola, but I mean, I own the LCA one. That one's been a dog here for the last month, but you just look at all these SPACs, like what was the Helion that was HYLN?
Yeah.
I mean, you were in that thing at 50 and the thing's $25 now. I mean,
I got
what other ones, what other big ones are there? Just looking through, I'm in SPAQ. That one's been a dog. I was way up in it and now I'm back to flat.
Dennis, are you still in your LCA?
Yeah, LCA and SPAC. Those are the two I own. I own the Bill Ackman one too, which hasn't done anything yet, but these have not been good. This luster has faded significantly on these SPACs.
Yep, definitely. And then, of course, the first one, which is SPCE Virgin Galactic. That's sort of.
They've come back. Space has come back. Maxar, Mitch Call too. I had a nice day yesterday. I haven't bought that yet. I talk about it. I just get sidetracked in my trading and then I don't buy the stocks I say I'm going to buy. But
how Tattoo Chef do yesterday?
Oh yeah.
What is the symbol on that one?
TCFF or something. What is it, Spencer?
It was TTCF.
TTCF. Came down. Tattooed Chef.
Yeah.
What SPAC was that one?
It was.
Oh god, it was. Gosh.
Wasn't it the meat one?
No, I don't want to own any of these things.
It was FMCI.
These have been ugly. So this one here, which hasn't really sold off much yet, just the SPAC action here has been sell the rip and don't buy the dip. that's kind of how the SPACs have worked here in the last month. Buying the dip on SPACs has been really bad. Selling the rip on SPACs, really good.
Yeah. All right, we didn't get to too many tickers in the chat. The ones we covered incidentally. So I've written a bunch of them down, and we'll cover the rest at the 3:40 show. I want to remind everyone that there's links to various Benzinga resources in the description of our video. There's links to Benzinga Pro, links to upcoming events, links to our newsletter as well that I will drop in the chat as well. Our Market in 5-minute newsletter that I haven't promoted much, but is a great morning read. And so you should check all those links out in the description of our video. Thanks to our guest, Nick Chahine. Thanks to everyone in our chat. Hit the like button. Show us your love. We appreciate that. Hit the subscribe button as well.
The likes are low today. It didn't do very good today.
It helps us with YouTube.
Talk politics.
I should
talk politics. Don't talk politics.
Yeah.
No more politics. We banned Rite Aid. What have we banned from the show now? Hertz, Rite Aid, and politics.
And masks. Right.
We don't talk masks.
Politics, religion,
and we can't talk about masks. You're right. You can't talk about masks.
Politics, religion, and masks, and Rite Aid, and Kodak.
And dry ships.
Oh yeah, Kodak. Oh, dry ships was bad. It's the first stock ever banned, dry ships.
Yeah.
Where's dry ships? That's gone, eh? That went off the board.
That's all right.
I did see Kodak yesterday was saying that they were still going to go through with their whatever they were supposed to be doing and their vaccine or whatever the heck they're doing without government funding. I was like, woo.
All right. I want to announce that we have a new YouTube show called The Raz Report. If you don't get enough Jason Raznick in your life, he has a new YouTube show. The first episode is going live tonight, I think at 5:00. I think I'm the first guest ever on this show. So Jason just interviewed me. If you care about that sort of thing, about just sort of my background, how I ended up here. And yeah, so that'll be on.
I like that.
Hey, nice. Spencer, we're right around our 5-year anniversary of working together, right?
We are past it. Actually, we are right around it because it was mid October.
Yes. Yep.
Oh.
Brianna, right before I went to Israel,
right.
Brianna left. And
do we have any long-term listeners that were listening way back before Spencer started?
So what happened was, I know
Spinner was in there. We got him in the other chat.
I don't know if Spinner was there.
Spinner was there. Spinner's been there forever.
Joel went away.
There.
Wait, hold on. I think so. Joel went away, and then when he came back, I had just started, or I started and then Joel went away. No, Joel went away and then for like 2 weeks. He went to Israel, right? And then he came back, and I started right then. I think is how it happened. Joel's first day back was her second.
Right. Yep. Yep. Wow.
That was
memory lane.
And then he's back. He says he's been listening since day. He was our first listeners way back.
Hey, who was that one guy in Indiana?
When we were on Uvu.
Who was that one guy in Indiana? that was a bright trader, and when it was just me and you talking.
Kevin. I won't say his last name. Kevin.
Okay. Yeah.
He was one of our first listeners.
He was our
way
first
back.
listener. He was.
Kevin was one of the first ones.
Yeah.
He is an interesting character. That guy liked his guns. A little scary.
We're done.
But...
Let's
We're
move
done.
on.
Everyone,
Yeah,
please
yep,
remember all the
yep.
information from our show is as informational purposes, not for investing or trading advice. Everyone have a good rest of your Tuesday. We'll see you in the afternoon.